What's up, guys? We got some tier changes for June here. June 2023, right after Home came out, we got some balance change. Well, not balance changes, sorry. We got some tier changes. So the main ones I'll be talking about are OU and UU because those are the two tiers I play the most of. So we're going to talk about just them overall. I also want to talk more specifically about OU. And then I will go into the actual numbers because we have the raw data here as well. First off, what do we notice? Telekinetic is in OU. I expected this to happen. Rain teams have become a lot more common just in the last few days because of Home. Basculegion has really helped with that. Regieleki really helped with that. And I'm not surprised to see Pelipper rise to OU. I think Pelipper is going to stay in OU now that Rain teams actually have viable options. So I don't think Pelipper will ever drop to UU again, which unfortunately will cause a rippling effect, which will probably drop, or well, I guess Bearski was never UU, but it's going to probably drop from there. Floatzel is probably also going to drop from UU without any viable Rain setters there, which that's kind of tough, but you know, it is what it is. And then RUBL to UU. So two Pokemon got up to UU, both Poltegeist and Hawlucha. So Psyspam apparently was back on the menu in UU. That doesn't surprise me either. I know when I was playing UU, I played a ton of Psychic spam, of Psyspam. So this doesn't really surprise me at all either. What does kind of surprise me is my boy Chestnut drop into UU. I thought Chestnut had a pretty decent place in OU. I kind of thought it might have been able to stay, but unfortunately it's dropping to UU. What doesn't surprise me is Inteleon and Orthworm dropping UU. This was pretty expected. Orthworm has no purpose outside of Shedtail, and we can actually try and find maybe where Shedtail, or not Shedtail, sorry, Orthworm even is on this list, because I genuinely don't know. Man, it looks like even Golduck might have been above it. Yikes. Also, all the Pokemon from Home are also intermixed in this data. So that's also something to keep in mind, which we'll talk about that later as well. I do not see it. Orthworm. Orthworm was the 91st most used Pokemon. Okay. So yeah, obviously dropping EU. There's really not much of a purpose without Shedtail to it. There's way better hazard setters. Earth Soil Eater, whatever the heck, Earth Eater I think is his ability. It's useful, but it's not enough to carve out a niche. And then Zoroark Hisuian unfortunately dropped to UU. With so many new tools in Pokemon Home, Zoroark just fell out of favor. New Toy Syndrome wore off, so down to UU you go. UU to RU. These are the interesting ones. Grimmsnarl is actually fallen to RU. I think Grimmsnarl might actually have a chance to get to OU if the Hyper Offense Pokemon, aka Magearna and Shippow, stay in OU. It'll definitely rise back up, but for now, down to RU. Samurott down to RU isn't surprising. I cannot believe it, but Staraptor is in RU, which is crazy. It went from UUBL to RU, which is kind of insane in my opinion. Fire Tauros, the Blaze Tauros is down to RU. Typhlosion's also down to RU, which also doesn't come as a surprise. Tauros kind of does, so I guess Aqua Tauros is a better option right now, which makes sense because Rain was more viable in the last month. Two spinners finally dropped though, and that would be Toadscruel and Sarina. These are two spinners that were both horrible. I can't believe it took them this long to drop to RU. Toadscruel has a niche, but it's not a just staple Pokemon you could put on anything. And I am surprised Fortress didn't drop though, because Fortress was the third spinner that's kind of just like very meh. So I actually want to see, hold up, I want to see where on Earth, where did, what's your name? Fortress Land, number 41. So just above the cutoff point, along with Indeed, 44 is the cutoff point. Wow, UU has a lot of diversity right now. Taurus Paldeo Aqua is also at number 40, whereas its Blaze Brethren was at 52. Interesting. Okay, that's cool to know. As far as the rest of the tier changes, I really don't care that much, to be honest. I have no knowledge of the tier, so I really won't talk about them, but I will talk a little bit more in depth about UU. I think the craziest thing here is that, wait, why is this image fuzzy? Be right back. Quality's a little bit higher, I think, now. I love how the Great Lando is still there. Looks like they've added help to it as well, which is kind of funny. So yeah, no really surprise here with our top 5. This has been a pretty stable top 5. I am surprised Meowscarada has jumped to number 9. Meowscarada has jumped to number 9 because of its versatility and its sets between Flower, Choice Band, Choice Scarf, Sash Lead. It has spikes as well, which is really good for it. There's a lot of things you can do with Meowscarada. It's actually really cool seeing it at 15.65% usage. That's about what, 1 every 7 teams, I think. Yeah, that's really cool. Hatterene also has jumped to top 10, which is crazy. I wonder if Hatterene's going to drop to UU again like last generation once all the new guys start coming out with the DLC and old guys return, but you know, that's to be seen. The craziest part here though is 4 Pokemon from home already have jumped into the top 37 Pokemon, being Shinpao, Landorus Therian, Regieleki, who was banned, and Magearna. So that's saying something. These Pokemon were out for literally 48 hours and they're already in the top percentage of OU. That is insane to me. Like, absolutely mind-boggling. Which means that the ladder is just spamming the heck out of them. It'll be interesting to see where they end up after a month. Obviously, Regieleki, not really. But Landorus Therian, this is the lowest Landorus Therian will ever be in OU, which is also really funny. Sorry, you couldn't see my cursor there. Jeez. Yeah, this is the lowest Landorus Therian will ever be in OU history. So enjoy it while it lasts. Pelipper in OU will be interesting. OU Rain teams are on the rise, which isn't a surprise again. So rip Floatzel and UU though. But yeah, I look forward to using Rain teams. As far as the rest of Pokemon go, I think Magearna will probably get quick ban sooner than later. Shinpao definitely needs to be looked at. Trick Room. Trick Room is one thing that I need to talk about. There are, how many viable Trick Room setters are we here? We got Meowscarada, Hatterene, Magearna. Yeah, Meowscarada can learn Trick Room, by the way. Fun fact. If you didn't know that, now you do. So you're welcome. Slowking can also run Trick Room. So there's quite a few good Trick Room setters already in OU. And with the addition of Ursaluna, who, by the way, it was almost in the cutoff, actually. Sneasler was 46. Zamazenta Crown was 45. Wow. Ursaluna was at 3.46. So top 41 Pokemon. Yeah. So 4 spots out from what would be the OU cut. So yeah, Trick Room is probably going to rise to prominence. Trick Room in Rain teams are probably going to rise to prominence, and the meta will probably shift accordingly. So I'm expecting the Volks to lower. I expect Garganacci to lower a bit, except Trick Room it might actually do better in. I think AV Pex is dead as well because Slowking Galar is back in the game, and I think Slowking Galar does Toxapex's job much better, to be honest. So that's another trend that we will be watching in the upcoming months. So, all right, not going to stretch the video out any longer. I feel it's already gone on long enough. So thank you all for watching. Make sure to stick around, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.